Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got the latest in the Beretta APX line, the Beretta APX Carry A1. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis X and Core belts. You'll find a link that you can sign up for Big Daddy Unlimited. They actually have things in stock and usually at a lower price than other places. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. Thank you. This is the latest in that line, as I mentioned. The APX Carry came out not too long ago, which is the single stack subcompact that I've got in my hand, and Beretta has evolved it, and in my mind drastically improved it with this latest iteration, which is the A1. I'm going to do a full comparison between the original APX Carry, which I have here, and the A1 in a separate video. Today I may mention a few things they've improved, but this really is about this gun. So it comes with two magazines. It comes with the 6-round flush mount magazine that actually comes with the pinky extender installed, but in the box with the gun you get the flat base plate so you can eliminate the pinky extender if you don't like them. And it also comes with the 8-round magazine you see here. Now that is lower capacity, 6 and 8. Of course you have the one in the pipe, but this is meant to be a very small concealed carry gun. It's 0.9 inches thick, it's 4.17 inches top to bottom with the flush magazine, and it's 5.63 inches long. So it fits into that subcompact, micro-compact territory. Unfortunately there are some guns competing with this that in this roughly the same footprint have 10 or 11 or even 12 rounds. So it did kind of come into a crowded market for this little small gun territory, especially with the capacity. It's got nice serrations at the front and back, and that's one of the things that's a little different. I'm just going to consider that an ergonomic thing or really an esoteric thing. You either liked the old design or you didn't. This is more mainstream. Both worked. There's texturing all over the place now. Texturing up here, texturing here, so that you've got a kind of a texture for your thumb. And then you of course got the texturing on the front strap, the side, and the back. You still cannot change the back straps on this. The APX Carry and the A1, the back strap, this is the way you see it. There's no replaceable back straps. It does have a nice deep beaver tail so that you can get your hand right up in there. You're unlikely to get slide bit. There's enough of a gap there that beaver tail gets you in deep enough. Probably see the plate. This is optics ready. And one disadvantage is it doesn't come with any plates, but when you register it online for the warranty, you can pick a plate and they'll send you a plate. It works with most of the common ones you're seeing today, the Burris Fast Fire series, Seymour, the Shield, and the Holosun. And of course if you don't put an optic on it, you would be using the sights that come with it. It does have a blackout rear, which those aren't my favorite, and it has a white dot front sight. The white dot appears to be bigger and brighter. When I look at it more closely, I just think the well that's drilled into it is just a bit shallower, and that makes the paint less shadowed and it shows up better. On the top it's smooth. Of course it has the APX logo on the top. And on the other side, you just have some basic information, but APX only appears in one place on the gun. Of course you have the Beretta logo here, and that one place is on the top. Unlike some of the earlier ones where it was stamped in a couple different places on the gun. You'll see that there's a screw for the front sight, and then a dovetail for the rear, and then of course the slide plate, or the optics plate that would allow you to put an optic on it. It has a 3-inch barrel, and it weighs 19.8 ounces. One of the things that they've significantly improved is the takedown process. There's a lever here, and I'll show you how that operates when I take it apart to show you the internals. But the other thing they've improved is the trigger. So there's the take-up. The trigger is lighter, still a significant amount of creep to a brake at the back, and there's an over-travel stop. Here, working towards the reset, which is pretty much all the way out, and then some take-up to get back on the beginning of the wall, and then a fairly long, somewhat creepy wall. The trigger is still not stellar, but it's moved from being a pretty bad trigger. I really didn't like the trigger in the original one to a decent trigger. So the trigger is good enough now to be able to stay on target as you're pulling the trigger. It fits in the hand nice. The ergonomics are comfortable. The texturing is grippy enough that it's going to hold onto your hand and stay put, but not so grippy that it's going to tear you up. And with an MSRP of $449, it competes well with the other guns in this territory. So let's go ahead and take it down. So there's two ways to take this down. You have to disconnect the sear. There's a button you can push here, or you can just pull the trigger. And then you pull this lever down, and it just pops right apart. Much easier to do, no tools, no twisting of anything. Internally, it has the safety on the trigger, the inertial pull safety on the trigger, and it has a drop safety piston. So this is designed to be drop safe. It's well machined. Beretta does make good guns. There's the drop safety piston right there. You can see it right there. And then the sear hook right there. They do good quality manufacturing. I've really never had a problem with the manufacturing quality of any Beretta gun. Here's your 3-inch barrel. You can get my tool to look at it. Now I did notice one thing with this, and you're probably not going to be able to see it on camera. There was a little bit of tool marks in the barrel and on the rifling, but I didn't have any problems with it stabilizing. Yeah, you won't be able to get in there and see that because they're kind of fine. When you're looking close at it, you can see it. But it stabilized well, it didn't let up, it didn't malfunction. And the ramp is kind of machine polished, and you can see some of the tool marks, some of the wavy tool marks. But again, it fed everything and it ran smoothly. So to me, it's just not a precision, high polished gun, but it works, it's functional. Drop the barrel back in, drop the recoil spring back in. Make sure the recoil spring is centered, and this bow is the way it came. It just kind of has that bow right out of the box. But again, it worked perfectly, and it doesn't hang up or drag when it goes together, and it doesn't drag when it cycles. Looking at the frame, or the grip frame, this internal chassis can be removed if it needs to be serviced, and it has really nice, long, robust rails front and rear. In fact, this is almost a continuous rail with one cutout here and one cutout there. So it's got a really nice, robust rail system. It does seem to be well put together and well machined. Now when I go to put it back together and I slide it back, this flipped itself back into position. It doesn't always. When you have it a little bit forward, you rack it back and forth, it won't cycle. Just give it a touch and it'll flip back into place. So the takedown and maintenance on it is no real different now than most of the other guns in this category. Toolless, relatively easy to do, and pretty reliable. Some things that are missing from the APX Carry in general that some people might want is there is no rail on the front of it, and the design of the trigger guard is kind of big and it's open, so of course it'll be good with gloves, but at the same time it may make it a little difficult for trigger guard lasers to be designed for it, and there are no ambi features on it. The magazine release does appear to be reversible, but it is not ambi. Magazine release does work well. Put it in, pops right out. The magazines pop well. It is a little bit hard to get to with your thumb because of the angle of it, but once you push it, it does work well and it does eject reliably. And that's one thing I will say about this. From round 1 till the last round we fired, the gun worked flawlessly. It just functioned perfectly. And the only thing I did to it is the same thing I do to every gun. I took it out of the box, I cleaned it, and I oiled it, took it to the range, and it just ran. So from a reliability perspective, I'm pretty sure the reliability is going to be there. One note on the magazines before I wrap up. They're all metal, except of course the base plate. They're all metal, even including the follower. They're really solid, well-constructed magazines. Witness holes on both sides. So they're easy to work with. And I previously mentioned the 8-round magazine, but I never actually put it in the gun and show you what the 8-round looks like. It gives you basically if I got my hand up in there right, a full 3-finger grip. And with the flush mag, you're kind of 2-finger, pinky going nowhere. And if you happen to use the 6-round pinky extender mag, the pinky extender does not add any capacity. It's, depending on the size of your hand, kind of a 2.5-finger grip. I tend to prefer either full grip or pinky down here, so I tend to remove the pinky extenders and put the flush plates on when I can. But the nice thing is, it's up to you. It comes either way. You can do what you want to do with it. Overall, it's probably not my favorite gun, but it is definitely good enough now from some of the changes they've made to be a usable gun in this category, especially if you have a larger APX and you want that consistency. The only thing, like I mentioned earlier, it's come into a crowded market where there's a lot of guns this size and this weight that hold 50 to 60 over and even over 100% more capacity than this one does. So you might want to factor that into as you're looking at it. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter. We're kind of everywhere. And thank you.